Hello once again, everyone. So since getting more out Thomas Page has been delayed, for my military saber, broadsword, and other sort of Napoleonic interested viewership, let's do a little workout together, shall we? For this, I'll be going through the main battlefield weapons of the time, as well as, of course, their Slave counterparts. So if you don't have a piece, you don't necessarily have to follow along, but you'll probably delight in going through all these in one go. Likewise, I'm going to do my best to make this somewhat timeless so that you can do it again. So, let us begin with the small sword. Take your small sword, put yourself at a nice right angle, and go ahead and come onto guard in cart for me. Take a moment before we go any further to make sure that your hips are nice and open, your feet are making a nice right angle from each other, and that your posture is nice and erect. It should be quite flat. Now we're going to begin nice and simple with just a bit of movement. So, we're going to advance, retreat, retreat, advance, advance, retreat, advance, advance, retreat, retreat, advance, retreat, advance, advance, retreat, advance, retreat, retreat, advance. Lovely. Now, here we will start working on our lunge. Our lunge in cart will be defined as 4 points. Number 1, extend the arm. Number 2, push off the back foot while you lift the lead foot, casting the arm down as though you're handing something off to someone. Number 3, push off the lead foot to recover your weight back onto the back foot. And number 4, let the arm relax again. Let's go through those as we count them off. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lovely. You will always have those 4 beats going in your mind. Now we're going to combine it with our movement. So, follow along. I will call out for lunge and recover now. Advance, retreat, advance, advance, retreat, retreat, advance, lunge, recover, retreat, advance, lunge, recover, retreat, advance, lunge, recover, retreat, advance, retreat, advance, advance, retreat, lunge, recover, retreat, advance, advance, retreat, lunge, recover, retreat, advance, advance, retreat, lunge, recover, retreat. Very good. Now, let's go ahead and start being a little more complicated with our hands. You'll now move yourself over into tierce, and we'll do some actions from there. So, on guard and cart, push on the corner of your grip, so that way you are able to turn your hand and blade over into a nice tierce. The rest of your body should remain the same. Extend, making sure that your nails end up nice and flat. Lunge, recover, relax. Extend, lunge, recover, relax. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now, from tierce and cart, we'll go ahead and start doing a couple simple parries. Against the air, this will feel somewhat strange, but we want to be nice and mechanical-like. So, we begin with our cart parry. From tierce, and I am giving an over top view. From tierce, you'll roll your wrist over and lightly contract the arm so that you're performing the parry with the fork of your sword. After you beat your imaginary opponent's blade, you will extend down the line into cart and then lunge. So, on guard in tierce, parry in cart, lunge. On guard in tierce, parry in cart, lunge. For this as well, remember that the parry is not just the act of hitting the sword, but instead the act of beating the sword and extending. Your parry is not complete until you've extended your arm. On guard in tierce, parry in cart, lunge. On guard in tierce, parry cart, lunge. On guard in tierce, parry cart, lunge. Very good. Now, for our parry and tierce, you'll do the opposite. I'm on guard in carte. I'm going to turn my wrist over, and my parry should slightly extend. Think of a nice kind of 45 line. Carte is contraction, tierce is extension on that same line. From there, you can push your arm forward either into tierce, or if you wish to, you can let the tip drop into second. So, on guard in carte, parry and tierce, lunge. On guard in carte, parry and tierce, lunge. On guard in carte, parry and tierce, lunge. Turn my angle. On guard in carte, parry and tierce, lunge. On guard in carte, parry and tierce, lunge. On guard in carte, parry and tierce, lunge. On guard in carte. Very good. Now, to have a little bit of extra fun, let us also practice doing a circle parry. So for this, all we're going to do is we're going to start at various depths of it. So first on guard and carte, just draw a circle about the size of your own guard from your perspective. We'll do that a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we'll go ahead and make it about the distance of your entire sword from your perspective. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we will make it the distance of your entire body from the side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. Now we'll move over into tierce. First, just the size of your guard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The size of your sword. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The size of your body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. Now, as far as the small sword is concerned, for right now we'll put that aside. We'll move on to our next weapon. So, please take up your saber. For the saber, we're going to go ahead and start off nice and simple, where we'll just review some of our cuts from the various points on our arm. So, on guard, go ahead and for now, take a nice medium. From here, we're going to angle first with our one cut from the wrist, so push forward, let it Bayonet back to medium. So, one cut, one cut, one cut, one cut. Good. Let's move into our two cut. Let the sword angle to a 45 of your offside, two cut, Bayonet back to medium. Two cut, two cut, two cut, two cut. Lovely. Now from here we'll move into our three cut. So let the sword come down, three cuts, drag into the hole back to medium. Three cuts, three cuts, three cuts, three cuts. Good. Now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Let the sword drop and do our four cut. Four cut, back into the hole. Four cut, four cut, four cut. Excellent. Now before we add in the 5 and the 6 and the 7, let's go ahead and start blending these together into Raworth's cutting pattern from the wrist. That will be as follows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you could stop there. I like to pop in a 7, 7, and that leads into our 1 again. So, following along with, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hold. Very good. Allow your arm to rest for a moment. Now we're going to go ahead and jump in to doing those same cuts. So now we're going to extend with a lunge. This is also how we kind of start cutting from our elbow. Remember, you don't want to be throwing cuts from your elbow. It's a great way to get tennis elbow. Instead, what we're looking for is just the act of extension with all of our actions. So, I'm on guard in the medium. I'm going to angle my cut, push forward and let my arm extend at the same time. I let myself lunge, completing my arm extension, and then on my recovery, I will moulinet back to my medium guard. So, on guard, we'll go through it bit by bit. Angle, cut 1, angle, cut 2, angle, cut 3, angle, cut 4, angle, cut 5, angle, cut 6, load, cut 7, and back to guard. Making sense so far? Let's go ahead and do, let's say, 5 of those. So, on guard, and 1 cut, 2 cuts, 3 cuts, 4 cuts, 5 cuts, 6 cuts, 7 cuts, 1 cut, 2 cuts, 3 cuts, 4 cuts, 5 cuts, 6 cuts, 7 cuts, 1 cut, 2 cuts, 3 cuts, 4 cuts, 5 cuts, 6 cuts, 7 cuts, 1 cut, 2 cuts, 3 cuts, 4 cuts, 5 cuts, 6 cuts, 7 cuts. Good. Let your arm rest for a moment. Now, we're going to do the same idea, and this is something we normally don't do, but just for sake of completeness, we're going to cut from the shoulder. So, for our shoulder cuts, all we're going to allow to happen is that the sword is going to fully travel through its line. So, beginning up in a hanging guard, we're going to start with the 1. Turn your wrist over, fully cut through the line, before returning back to a hanging guard. Here's that again. In hanging guard, angle all the way through back. From there, we shall do the same thing with a 2 cut. Angle the tip, all the way through back. Angle the tip, all the way through back. Again, not necessarily something we usually do in our sparring, but good to practice nonetheless. For our 3 cut, we will bring the hand down by our hip, all the way through back to hanging. Bring the guard down by your hip, all the way through back to hanging. The 4 cut, same idea. Bring the sword down between your legs, all the way through back to hanging. Down, all the way through back to hanging. It's kind of the easiest. We will not be doing the 5, 6, or 7 because these will open us up just a little bit too much. But as far as adding a little bit of shoulder in your cross cuts, sometimes a very good thing to know how to do. In particular because now we will combo them together. So, what we'll do is angle with a 1, cut, turn over for the 4, cut, bring it across for the 2, cut, turn the hand over for the 3, up, back into the 1. So, you only ever make the transition on the high line in between each of your 4 cuts. Here is that again. Angle, 1 cut, 4 cuts, angle, 2 cut, 3 cuts, angle, 1 cut, 4 cuts, angle, 2 cut, 3 cuts, guard. This should be done with a certain amount of looseness, just letting your sword turn over when it's reached its natural conclusion. So let's go through a couple of those, just a little bit snappier. Again, don't try to make the sword move faster than it's going to. Let this be from the shoulder and let it just kind of happen. So, 1, 4, 2, 3, guard. 1, 4, 2, 3, guard. 1, 4, 2, 3, guard. Nice and straightforward. Let's try and do a couple where we don't take that pause. 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, guard. Very good. Now we have but one more pattern I wish to do before we put the saber down for now, which is going to be, we're going to do a 1, 2, 3, 4 into guard. So this can kind of use a combination of everything we've been doing so far. Our 1 cut from our outside guard can be as simple as just cutting. Our 2 cut can be exactly the same. For our 3 cut, let it travel up. And then for our 4, let that shoulder open up so that you pop into a nice solid hanging guard. This should lead to a sort of slowly lengthening rhythm as you go. So, on guard on the outside, 1, 2, 3, 4, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, good. As you notice, that 4 cut can be a bit of a cut on its own or just a cut up into guard. Here's that same thing from the side. Outside guard. 1, 2, 3, 4, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, good. 1, 2, 3, 4, good. Excellent. Now for now at least, we'll set the saber down. If you wish to do more of any of these exercises, feel free to do extra reps. So now, next thing we're going to move into is we're going to move up to the broader backsword, or whatever your heavier sword equivalent is. For example, you could have a cuirassiers sword or things along those lines. That'll all work just fine. However, if you wish to work with that, just doing kind of the same exercises, you're welcome to do so. The thing I want to focus on is more of our slips, and then we'll add the targe to it. So, taking up your heavier sword, let's work a little bit on some of our slips and basic cuts with it. So, beginning in an outside guard. In comes the 1 cut, you will do an inside slip, cut number 2, back to guard. Let's do it again. Slip, cut, guard. Here's from the side. Slip, cut, guard. If you wish to, you can also bring your foot behind your left foot like so. Slip, cut, guard. Works the same. Let's do a couple of those in a row. On guard and you're outside. Slip, cut, guard. Slip, cut, guard. Slip, cut, guard. Slip, cut, guard. Excellent. From here we shall move into doing the same idea on our outside slip. So taking an inside guard, you will pull your hand back till it's parallel with your shoulder. Allow your body to broaden up. You could achieve the same thing by bringing your feet close together, but that often is not sufficient. So do try to let yourself broaden as you do this. And then fire back in either with a 1 cut if you wish, or a 2 cut at the head. We'll do the 1 cut. Boom. Here's that again. Slip, cut, guard. Now let's do so from the side perspective. Slip, cut, guard. 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 Lovely. Now we'll move up into our hanging slip. For this, begin with the sword held above your head. You're going to bring it back as you bring your foot back in the manner of the last slip we did. And you're going to cut a 7 as your foot comes with you. Note, the sword needs to move ahead of the foot. If you're mirroring these two, or rather matching these two closely, you'll perform still a fine slip, but you won't be able to hit your target before they recover. The order of operation should be back, back, forward, forward, and always leading the way. So, slip, cut, guard. 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 Lovely. So, now that the arm is adapted to the weight of the broadsword, let's go ahead and grab up our targe. If you do not have a targe, you can just do this exercise with your arm or any sort of weight put within it. We'll start off with a little bit of specifically targe side work. So, staying in your normal right foot forward posture, your sword in your hand but ignored for now, we're going to start by extending and then relaxing. Extending and relaxing. This is my hand just vertically covering the side of my head. I extend it out to affect space, doing the same idea. Extend, relax. Extend, relax. Extend, relax. Now next we're going to do the same idea, but we're going to lift. Lift, relax. Lift, relax. Lift, relax. Lift, relax. Same idea, but now we're going to lower it. Lower, relax. Lower, relax. Or I should say engage, but anyway. Lower, relax. Lower, relax. What we're doing here is we're just going through some of the basic small targe parries you may do without taking your arm terribly out of position. By extending it forward, you cover more of that side. By lightly raising it up, not actually turning it, you cover most of that high line above the targe. By just letting your elbow come down to your side, you cover your midsection. The targe will never save you below it anyway. Now we'll do the same idea, but we're going to bring it across. Across, back. Across, back. Just enough that it would cover if someone were to throw a 2-cut at where my scar is. Across, back. Across, back. Across, back. Now our final one, we're going to bring it broad across our stomach, and at the same time we're going to slip our foot. Across, back. Across, back. Across, back. Across, back. Lovely. That's about as much as you need to move the targe. So now, if you wish to do those again while you're holding the sword in a simple hanging guard, you can do. It covers pretty much all of the gaps presented from your sword. Next, we're going to just go ahead and do the basic combination that is given to us by Page in the manner of describing how the Highlanders fight, which will be cutting an outside at the wrist, pushing a thrust at the navel, slipping from the navel, and then we'll go ahead and also do a further cut at the neck in 2 different fashions. So, on your guard, make sure your tip is not too far extended. Keep it relatively close to your shield so that people can't mess with it. We're going to lift our tip and let our cut happen from both the wrist and the shoulder. It should somewhat fall into a point forward guard. If you wish to also lift your targe up in that first parry we did at the same time, not a terrible idea. So, load it up, cut, recover, cut, recover, cut, recover, cut, recover. Lovely. Now from here we're going to push a thrust afterwards. Note, you should end up your arm somewhat extended. Push the thrust mostly with your arm, just until it is nails down in kind of its ears, I guess. Your targe can stay where it is. There will be a vulnerability from when doing this. That's just what happens when you thrust on the low line. But we want this to be nice and mechanical-like, and after the thrust is done, snap it back up into guard. So, cut, thrust, guard. 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 And if it helps, I will show it from the side. I think it would probably be most beneficial if I look this way. Cut, thrust, guard. Cut, thrust, guard. Cut, thrust, guard. Lovely. Now from here, we will perform a slip. So after our sword has passed our target, we're going to bring the sword back to us, and you can do this in a variety of ways, but we want to load up for cutting at the neck. So, a simple inside slip will do. Alternatively, if you wish to, if your sword is ending up lower, you can slip it by putting it into essentially first ward. It'll work out the same. I may do a combination thereof. But after our slip is executed, we're going to push forward with a nice 2 at neck level. We'll start off simple, and then we'll make this a little bit more complicated. So, I think it'll be most beneficial if I face the camera first, then I'll turn. So, cut, slip, cut, guard. Cut, slip, cut, guard. Cut, slip, cut, guard. Now I'll change my hand position on the slip. Cut, slip, cut, guard. Cut, slip, cut, guard. Cut, slip, cut, guard. Lovely. Now, just for a little bit of extra fun, sometimes when you come back in, it's beneficial for you to do a passing step, since we are trying to get to the outside of the weapon. So we're going to do a little changing step. I will cut, slip, pass. And the targe just will sit where it is. Here's that again slowly. Cut, slip, pass. Cut, sorry, cut, slip, cut, good. Making sense? Let's do a couple of those just for fun. Cut, slip, cut, guard. Cut, slip, cut, guard. Cut, slip, cut, guard. Lovely. So, nothing too complicated, nice and simple, but let's add one more thing to it before we're done with the charge. So now, we're going to execute a cut at the sword hand, causing them to possibly lift their targe or their sword. Then we're going to turn over and let out the bowels with a 3 cut. This is a nice shoulder cut that we worked on before with the saber. So, from my guard position, I'm going to cut, turn my wrist over, cut, guard. If you wish to, you can also recover from your first quasi-lunge on that 3 cut. That would look like this. Cut, cut, guard. Just to take the wrist or hit the chest. Here's it again. Cut, cut, guard. Cut, cut, guard. Cut, cut, guard. Nice and simple. You can do some more of those if you wish, or if you want to. You can even play around with doing a passing step so you are fully covered with your targe when you do so. That would look like this. Cut, cut, guard. Let's do 1 or 2 of those just for fun. Cut, cut, guard. Cut, cut, guard. Cut, cut, guard. Lovely. Go ahead and set the targe down. You may set your broadsword down as well. Moving up, the true king of weapons on the battlefield, let's go over the bayonet. It'll be nice and simple. Again, if you don't have a bayonet, you can do this with a spear or any other long, hokey thing. It will do all the same. We're just going to go through the manual exercise right quick. So, assuming the second position, wherein your left foot is forward, your right foot is back, and the bayonet is held in midsection, let us begin by warming up this side. Straighten the right leg until you are leaning forward on the left. Straighten the left leg until you are leaning on the right. Straighten the right. Straighten the left. Straighten the right. Straighten the left. Good. Return to center. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and execute our points at slow time for sake of. First will be at man level. So, point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Now at the high line, point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. At the low line, point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. At midsection, shorten arms. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Back to second position. Lance point. 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 Very good. About face and switch hands. At the man, point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. At height, point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. At low, point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover. At the man, shorten arms. Point, recover. Point, recover. Point, recover, point, recover. Second position, lance point, 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 point. Very good. About face, and at ease. Lovely. You can go through that exercise more if you wish, or if you want to, you can also thrust over into the tierce with your thrusts as well, which will achieve just a little bit extra. Otherwise though, as far as our little warm-up / workout, that should do pretty well. You can increase the number of things that we did. I just wanted to go over them in a relatively short video, but still also, if you followed me along doing rep for rep, should be nice and doing well. A little bit of sweat up, a little bit of breathlessness. That's good. Both legs worked, both arms somewhat worked. If you wish to as well, certainly doing the saber exercise with your left hand or offhand is advisable. Otherwise though, thank you all very, very much for watching. Keep training. We'll go over some other techniques another time.